The letter doesn't look like much. Plain envelope, no return address. Your name typed on the front in a font so ordinary it could have come from anyone. You almost throw it away. You don't. You open it at your kitchen table on a Tuesday morning with coffee going cold beside you. There are 3 sentences inside: a time, an address, and a single instruction: tell no one. You go. The building is not what you expected. No eagle seal above the door. No men in dark glasses flanking the entrance. It's an office park in Northern Virginia, the kind of place that sells insurance or processes medical claims. A woman meets you in the lobby. She smiles like she's done this 1,000 times. She probably has. She walks you to a room with no windows and 2 chairs and a folder on a table. She says, sit. You sit. What happens next takes 6 hours. They know everything. Not some things, everything. The parking ticket you paid late in 2019. The girl you dated for 3 weeks sophomore.
The night in college you don't talk about. The online search you made at 2 in the morning that you told yourself didn't mean anything. They lay it all out without blinking. Not as an accusation, as a demonstration. This is what we can find. This is who we are. This is what it means that we called you specifically and not someone else. By hour 3, you understand that you were never applying for this. You were being selected for it. There's a difference.
By hour 5, they explain the job. Not the full job. Enough of it. You would exist in the spaces between things. Between countries, between agencies, between official operations and the ones that never happened. You would have no rank on any document that survives an audit. No file in any database a congressional subcommittee could access. You would be, for all practical purposes, a person who does not exist, working for an organization that will never confirm you did. Then the woman slides the folder across the table. There's just one thing they need from you before you sign. Everything. Not your loyalty, not your skills, not your willingness to operate in hostile environments under cover of darkness. Those are assumed. What they need is your life, the one you currently have. The name on your credit cards, the apartment with the leaky faucet, the phone with the photos on it, the people who would notice if you stopped calling. All of it gets filed in a room you will never have access to again. You pick up the pen. You sign. The woman collects the folder. She stands. "Welcome aboard," she says. Then she tells you her name for the first time. You will later learn it is not her real one.
The erasure takes 11 weeks. It is the most thorough thing you have ever experienced, and you experience almost none of it consciously. Forms get filed in offices you never visit. Records get amended in databases you didn't know existed. The person you were for the last 31 years gets quietly folded up and placed in a sealed container in a facility somewhere in the Maryland suburbs. Not destroyed, just archived. The distinction feels important at the time. It will feel less important later. You were given a new name on a Wednesday. They hand it to you on a card the size of a business card. Just the name. No ceremony, no explanation of why this name specifically. You practice writing it that night in a hotel room they've put you in temporarily. Your handwriting looks wrong with someone else's name attached to it.
You practice until it doesn't. The legend comes next. A legend is what they call the constructed life they build around your new name. It is not a cover story. A cover story is temporary. A legend is permanent. It has depth. Your new self grew up in a specific mid-sized city, attended a specific university, has transcripts there, a roommate who will corroborate the stories, a landlord who remembers you vaguely and positively. Your new self has a work history, references who will answer the phone, a childhood dentist whose records show 3 fillings and a clean bill of health every 2 years. You spend 4 weeks learning your own life.
There are tests. An instructor sits across from you and fires questions without warning. Where did you spend Thanksgiving 2009? What was the name of the professor whose class you almost failed? What street did you live on before you got the apartment? You answer wrong twice in the first week. The instructor writes something down. He does not tell you what. You stop getting it wrong. By week 11, you can tell the story of your new life without pausing, without the small hesitations that a trained observer would notice and flag. You can describe the smell of the house you grew up in, the one that doesn't exist.
with enough sensory detail that the person listening almost smells it too. You have become someone who never existed. You have done it so completely that some mornings you wake up and for 3 or 4 seconds you cannot remember which version is the one you were born into.
Those 3 or 4 seconds will get longer. The work is nothing like the movies. There are no car chases in the first year, no hand-to-hand encounters in stairwells, no satellite feeds counting down in the corner of a screen while you sprint across a rooftop. The work is patience. The work is sitting in the same coffee shop in the same city for 11 days in a row until you become furniture, until the man at the corner table stops noticing you, until you can watch him make a call and read the tension in his jaw and know whether it's a business call or a personal one or the kind that gets people killed. You learn tradecraft the way you learn a language. Slowly, then all at once. A dead drop is not dramatic. It's a piece of tape on the underside of a park bench, a chalk mark on a wall, a book left spine up on a specific shelf in a specific library in a city that would surprise you. The signal means something, and the absence of the signal means something else. And the wrong signal in the wrong location means you do not go to the meeting point, and you do not look for the reason why. A brush pass takes 2 people, half a second, and 0 eye contact. You practice it until your hands stop telegraphing the moment before contact, until you can take something from a stranger in a crowd without the stranger registering that you touched them at all. An asset is not a friend. This is the first rule they give you, and the one that takes the longest to actually believe. An asset is a person who has information or access that your operation requires, and who's providing that information or access for reasons of their own. Money, ideology, fear, ego, or some combination of all 4. Your job is to understand their reasons better than they do, to give them just enough of what they need to keep giving you what you need.
You will spend months with some of them. You will learn the names of their children, you will attend their birthday dinners and laugh at the right moments, and remember details that make them feel seen. None of it is an accident. All of it is architecture. You are very good at this. That is the part they don't tell you will cost you something. It's a Tuesday in October when you see the photographs. You shouldn't have the phone. It's a personal device. Those are prohibited during active deployment. You held on to it anyway, buried in the lining of a bag, battery removed, because there are 6 photographs on it that you couldn't bring yourself to delete before you left. You look at them sometimes, when the operational tempo drops low enough that your brain starts reaching for something real to hold on to. You're looking at them on this Tuesday in October, when the new ones load. Your sister got married. 6 weeks ago, apparently, in the backyard of your parents' house, the one with the oak tree that drops acorns on the porch every fall. There are 43 photographs. She's in white. Your father is crying in the 3rd one, the specific kind of crying he does where he laughs a little at the same time, the kind you've seen exactly twice before. Your mother is wearing the blue dress she saves for important things.
You are not in any of the photographs. To them, you called 3 months before you left to say you were taking a job abroad. Something in consulting, you said. Lots of travel, hard to reach. You said it the way they trained you to say it. Warm but vague, close enough to normal that it wouldn't worry anyone immediately. Your mother said she was proud of you. Your sister said to come home for the holidays if you could. You haven't called since. The protocols are clear on this. Contact with family during active deployment creates vectors. A vector is anything that can be used to identify, locate, or leverage you. Your mother's landline is a vector. Your father's habit of talking to neighbors is a vector. Your sister, who did not know she was doing it, posted a photograph to a private account last spring that contained a reflection in a window that contained a partial image of your face and a building that could be cross-referenced with satellite imagery to within 4 city blocks of your location. Your handler flagged it within 6 hours. The account was quietly made inaccessible to foreign intelligence scraping tools within 12. You were not told about it for 3 weeks. You put the phone away.
You remove the battery, you put it back in the lining of the bag. You sit for a while. Outside the window of the apartment they've placed you in, a city that is not your city moves through a Tuesday like it has no idea. You go back to work.
Budapest is where they put you under deep cover. Not Budapest, the city specifically. Budapest is just where it starts. What they mean by deep cover is this. You will live as your legend, full-time, without interruption, for an indeterminate period. No check-ins on a predictable schedule. No handler you see regularly. Communications through methods so indirect that a message can take 4 days to travel 6 blocks. You will have a job, a routine, neighbors who know your name. Not your name, the name. You will go to the same grocery store. You will have a preferred table at a restaurant 2 streets over. You will, for all observable purposes, simply live there. The target is not a person. The target is a network. You are being inserted into its edges to work toward its center over a timeline measured in years. You are told this at the beginning so that you understand the assignment is not something you complete. It is something you inhabit. You inhabit it. 18 months in, you have a friend. This is not sanctioned, but it is also not avoidable. His name is not something you'll say out loud here. He works at a university 3 blocks from the apartment. He's funny in a specific dry way that reminds you of someone you used to know before you became someone else. You have dinner with him on Thursday nights. He talks about his students. You talk about the import business your legend runs.
He doesn't ask too many questions. You like him for that, without understanding that you like him for that. One Thursday, he doesn't show up. He doesn't show up the following Thursday either. The Thursday after that, you walk past the university and his name is not on the faculty board anymore. Not removed, just gone, like it was never there. You know what that means. You know exactly what that means because you work for the people who do that to people. And you know the specific texture of an erasure when you see one. You never find out why. You eat dinner alone at the restaurant 2 streets over. The waiter brings you the thing you always order without asking. You sit at your preferred table. Outside, Budapest moves through a Thursday like it has no idea. You go back to work.
Year 4 is when you ask about getting out. You phrase it carefully, the way they trained you to phrase things, professionally, without emotional coloring. You cite operational fatigue. You cite the standard psychological benchmarks the agency uses to evaluate field longevity. You submit the request through the proper channel, which takes 9 days to reach the right person, who responds through a different channel 4 days after that. The response is thorough. It acknowledges your service. It acknowledges the duration and intensity of your deployment. It outlines in careful procedural language the options available to officers in your classification. There is one option: continued service. You read the response 3 times to make sure you're understanding it correctly. You are understanding it correctly. The logic, when it's explained to you later in a conversation that takes place in a parking structure in a city you'll also not name, is not cruel. It is simply geometric. You know too much.
Not operationally. Operations get burned and rebuilt constantly. You know the architecture, the methods, the people, the ones who don't officially exist, the ones whose safety depends on a very small number of people knowing they exist at all. Every person who knows that number is a variable the agency manages for as long as the agency needs to manage it. You are a variable. You are being managed. The man in the parking structure says this without apology because it doesn't require one. It's not personal. You of all people understand that. It's just the geometry of the situation you signed yourself into on a Wednesday morning with a cup of coffee going cold on your kitchen table. You nod. You leave the parking structure. You go back to work.
There's a version of this story where you find a way out, where you're clever enough or desperate enough or have accumulated enough leverage to negotiate something that looks like an exit. A quiet life somewhere unremarkable, a new legend, a 4th version of yourself. Maybe. But here's what you actually know. 4 years in, standing in an apartment in a city that isn't yours, wearing a name that isn't yours, eating dinner alone because the only friend you managed to make in 18 months disappeared on a Thursday. You know 19 languages well enough to pass. You can surveil a target for 3 weeks without being made once. You can build a functional explosive device from materials available in any hardware store. You can read a room in 4 seconds and identify the 2 people in it most likely to be armed. You can lie to anyone about anything for any length of time and make them feel lucky that you told them. You have never been more capable in your life. You have never been less of a person. The apartment is quiet.
The operational packet for next week sits on the table. New city, new target, new version of the legend adjusted for the environment.
You'll memorize it tonight and burn it in the morning. By noon tomorrow, you'll be someone slightly different again, adjusted and recalibrated. The legend layered one coat thicker over whatever is still underneath it. You pick up the packet. You wanted to be chosen above everyone else. You got exactly that. You sit down. You get to work.